Okay, hi everybody. This is January 20th and calling to order the meeting of the Ad Hoc Grant Search Committee. And we have 3 of our 4 members present, Diana, Kate, and Chris. I think Ed may be joining us. John Workman may show up. I'm not sure if he got the invitation in time to fit into his schedule to talk about the HMP grant. And then Ellen and Mark will join us around 2:30 for continued discussion on the Mass Trails Greenway application. Okay, so I think we'll go ahead and start because there's been, oh, here he comes. Perfect. Here's John. So while we're waiting, we're gonna forego any minutes today. I think there has been finally the last 2 have been posted on the YouTube site. Hey, John. And I know Kate will have to be catching up on those. So until next time, we're gonna not worry about any minutes. Hi, John. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, good. Thanks for joining us. I'm sorry I sent a Zoom really late, and I don't know if you really have time to join us or not. So
yeah, actually I do. I tested positive, so I'm home right now.
Oh no. Oh goodness.
Yeah, it's been quite a couple weeks.
Oh my. Yeah, exactly. Wow. And this is after all this time, huh? My goodness.
Yeah. I'm actually feeling pretty good. I'm over. And I only had really a sore throat, so I'm kind of mostly over it. But
well,
yeah,
yep.
When you get
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, listen, we thought we'd just spend about a half an hour to kind of go through where we are with this hazard mitigation plan update application. You know, we kind of put it off to the side a little bit to jump on a mass trails thing for the bike path, and they're both due kind of anytime. So I'm going to try and bring up the screen, and I'm going to be in Google Docs, and hopefully it'll let me do what I want to do here.
Oh.
Let me scare away here. Oh, goody, it will maybe. Okay, there we go. Perfect. Okay. So first of all, I think Ed may join in, but we'll see if he does or not. We've got a lot, and I think I'll open up this LOI. So let's see if I can do that part. Will it let me? Oh, good. Oh man, life is working today. All right, very good. Okay, so I spent some time on this. Kate, thank you for all your input on this. You did a lot of extra writing, and I think John, you did some other stuff as well. So I wanted to just tell you one thing. I'll get rid of this verify the expiration date. That has been that's been resolved. I'll change it later. It really does expire January 30th, 2022. I ended up calling the person at state at MEMA just to be sure, because it was approved by the select board in December 16, and I thought, uh-oh, if it's five years to the date, we might be in trouble. And it actually is from FEMA's date, so it ended up being January 30th, and then she said it's okay. It's not a big thing. They know we'll have a gap anyway between when it expires and when the update actually happens. So this part is correct, and we'll go over on to the budget part in a little bit and fill this in, but this is what it's looking like right now. I'll show you the budget. I don't want to pull up 2 documents here, so we'll go through this first and then I'll move on to the budget. But we have filled in some basic costs. Bradley and Ed, I guess, but I mean, basically went in and put in hourly rates for people that would be involved in the committee. So that would include everybody from John to Ed to Ian, Randall. We put in Tom Gaughan, Ron Lauren as well, Aliza and Jerry, and then I think a volunteer at this point in time, and just guesstimated some hours. So we'll look at that. But this is what it would be looking like right now, unless we change it, which is a total request is $30,960, which would be a $23,000 request of the state, or of the feds. Actually, this is actually a FEMA grant through MEMA, the way I understand it, John, I think. So it actually goes to the feds via the state for approval. And then our share would be this $79.60, which would be, and I'm going to get rid of this town cash. It's going to be staff time, not town cash. It's going to be just staff time. So that comes out to about a 26% increase. We need 25%, 26% share in terms of our contribution. We need 25%. That seems reasonable. I definitely wouldn't want to go, from all we've heard, I wouldn't want to go higher than 25,000 on the request. We don't really know. We're kind of assuming that it might be PVPC that would help us out again, because they, had the consultant the first time. Whatever chunk of money we have will dictate the number of hours they can allocate anybody, no matter who we hire. And just clarifying with this Shelley person, that even though it's a relatively small amount, because it is a federal grant, 3 quotes are required. Doesn't mean we send out an RFP or anything. It's just that we can't just simply award it to PVPC. We have to invite at least 2 other entities to give us their cost on what it would be if they were to help us out. So she said some people have used Tie and Bond and other companies, which seem, I don't know, I can't imagine they would be as cost effective perhaps, but who knows? But we have to just send them an email. It's nothing strenuous. And she said, don't worry about it. It's not until after you get awarded a grant do you even have to worry about that. So she was just giving me a heads up on that kind of stuff. So if we can kind of go down through, I hope this is readable for everybody. I'll try and scroll here. I don't know if anybody's had a chance to read through this. This was, I thought, reading quite good in terms of the narrative that we've got in here. And I know, Kate, a lot of this is maybe stuff that you put in. Is that right, in purple maybe?
The purple text was things that I put in, but I also pulled a lot of it from the MVP planning process. So there's like a little bit of crossover between the two.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So I think we'll, we won't go through this word for word, but I think what we can do is, once we're done with this, because we really just want to allocate about a half an hour here. And there's a couple of questions I have a little bit further down. I can kind of clean this up and then just, have it so that everybody can see it easily to see what it really looks like here. I have a feeling we've probably written more than we need, given what I've heard from her. The sample letter is really just, a couple page letter. And by the time we get rid of all the instructions in this, I'm not sure how long it may look. So I would kind of like to clean it up and put it in a final shape of the letter itself. So this, though, had three possibilities. I'm going to scroll back up just a little bit. So the top 3 concerns were assessment of culverts, bridges, and trees along roadways near critical infrastructure. So I don't know what the possible paid was. That, John, that might have been your wording there. Possible paid assessment, outside assessment.
Yeah, it probably was just so that if we had to internally generate it, we may be better served if we had someone external.
Okay.
I know that was one of DPW concerns, is that he'd prefer if somebody, because he didn't know how to.
Okay. All right. Okay, that's valid. Okay. All right. Good. I just wanted to clarify what that meant. Yeah. Okay. So I think most of this, I think, flowed fairly well here. But John, I'm going to guess that you really haven't had a whole chance to look at some of the work that Kate put into this. So
No, it didn't. But
I'd rather give you a chance to do that and then get back to us, if that's okay.
Yep, sure. I can.
Rather than trying to read it through today, word for word kind of thing. Yeah. The second one that I think you had noted was the generator at Norris, and to talk about a shelter, cooling shelter, etc. here. Yep. And some of that got more filled in, Kate, I think. Thank you.
I think I can just add that the fundraising is complete for that generator at the church.
Okay. All right.
Nice.
I'm just gonna note that. Oh, I don't want that. Oh, never mind here. Okay. Just gonna note that. Generator.
I don't know if it's installed yet or not, but I think it will be soon.
Okay. Great. Good to know. All right. Here comes Ed. Okay. Well, that was crazy, but you know what that was. Church complete generator. Never mind. I know my notes. Hi, Ed. How you doing? All right. We're starting in on the hazard mitigation. And then the third one, John, was about gas and diesel pumps at DPW. And
Yeah.
so those are the three ones. And then you had this internet townwide and manage would ensure service to town folk to ensure communications, and then maintain sewer in environmentally sensitive areas of town. I'm gonna guess that maybe 3B would come above 3A, only because later on, I kind of, and feel free to push back, I kind of felt that, I know Ed has had a couple meetings with folks from Hamden Ponds about the water situation over there recently, and I kind of thought that if we do some public meetings, that one of them might be Hamden Ponds focused. So I kind of think that that might come above.
Yeah,
Is that
That's-
any thoughts?
yeah,
What is
absolutely.
Paper. Oh,
So maybe put the I don't know about install and maintain sewer, if we would actually, I mean, this wouldn't be part of this grant. We wouldn't maintain, I mean, we wouldn't install a sewer. We would, well, this is asking for our top three concerns, our top three priorities, right? So,
I'm gonna,
Our ink is here. Do you want?
Huh?
The ink is here.
okay, I'll be over in about 45 minutes right now. Thanks.
We'll address the following hazards in our plans. So, yeah, I don't know that the internet one would tie in here. If the question is addressing the hazard in the plan, I think addressing Hamden Ponds issue is the hazard to address. And I don't know, I know Ed, you've been meeting with some of those folks. Can you tell us just briefly what their concern is? Is it the quality of water? And you muted, Ed, sorry.
It would be the septic systems leaching into, Hamden Ponds and the quality of the water in Hamden Ponds.
Okay. Yeah, so that probably, I'm just gonna add another one here so I don't forget it here. Come on. Okay. So John, any thoughts there in terms of, I mean, that seems like that would be a fourth priority as well. I mean, there could be four priorities, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think the internet is probably more likely going to be covered by like electric company kind of thing, because that's where it seems to have been successful in towns around us. And certainly the sewer is more, Southampton specific.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so the top three concerns would be around the culverts, bridges, and trees, an assessment of those, having some emergency generator at Norris for cooling, etc. And gas and diesel pump issue. I don't know if would the septic at Hamden Ponds go above the gas and diesel pump one?
Oh, that's a tough one. I think the thing with it really is for emergency services.
Yeah. Okay.
The other is, critical for environmental. But if it hits the fan, we want to be able to ensure that vehicles are working. So as much as I hate to, because I live on the ponds,
Yeah.
say that the pumps are probably
Okay.
a better thing for the town.
All right, then I think what I'll do, if everybody's okay, I'll end up taking out the internet focus here, because I don't think that's really a hazard per se. And
Yeah.
hopefully I'll have enough room to put in these 4. I think it will be, because it looks like it's just really a letter. There's not a form to fill in online, as I learned today. So Ed, I was just filling people in. I called our folks at MEMA and I got a little bit more clarity on submitting this grant. So it's a little bit easier even than we thought.
Oh, good.
But she confirmed that it does expire January 30th, the current plan. So
Okay.
then moving in here, it's not exactly the planning process. We're going to change that to update. Oh, I hate this. Come on now. There, and then talking about how we would do this. So part of this is just getting involved with, putting a committee together. And I think a lot of this had already been mentioned up in here. I think, an individual, at most we might have, 1 or 2 individuals. I mean, we have not had much luck getting anybody to volunteer to be on any committee. So holding out hope for that is not, it hasn't been realistic at this point. We've got a couple, but not too many in recent months have we had volunteer. This coordination with, so multiple town departments, local stakeholders, and town members, I think that's generically fine. It kind of repeats the same up here, so I might try to combine this, because again, I think this is going to be lengthier than what they're even wanting here. Okay. Mentioning that we just completed the MVP process, so I think that's fine as just a note that is, something that is kind of parallel to this or in coordination with this update. And then it was a specific title and who will be the team leader, and I ended up putting here John and Ed as a secondary leader. Hopefully, sounds all right, maybe. And then create a committee, because the old one pretty much doesn't have any of those folks around anymore. They're not in the right roles, if they're even still in town. So who will be in that group? And this got repeated a little bit later on, so I'll combine this. But Fire Chief, EMD, Highway Department Superintendent, Water Commission Superintendent, Tree Warden, Police Chief, Public Health Director, School Principal, Town Administrator, and a volunteer resident. And then just question mark, because later on we did talk about maybe involving other stakeholders. Is it realistic to have, at least on a meeting or 2, having the Eversource and Holyoke Gas and Electric folks come, just to hear what we're talking about? Anybody else that should come, John?
That looks pretty good, and we can certainly invite those people in as needed too. I don't, whether we need to list or not is up to you.
Yeah, it depends on how this question, sort of plays out here, because later on, just down below, and I guess Kate, again, I think this might have been something you'd added in and it might have come in from the MVP, but Holyoke Waterworks, they'd be the ones in charge of the dam at Ty Carmody, right?
Correct.
So that would be one. And then I don't know about Whip City Fiber and Charter. That's really much more broadband related. I'm not sure that that's part of our hazard mitigation focus. But Kate?
I think that paragraph was referenced in the previous hazard mitigation plan. I think I highlighted it where if we didn't think it was relevant, we could remove it.
Okay.
But they were a part of the previous plan.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't know why. I mean, I guess you could have an outage with Charter and yeah, I guess I would see Homeland, Eversource and Holyoke Gas and Electric and Water to be higher priority than those guys. And we don't have Whip City Fiber here yet anyway. So anyway, just trying to get through a general idea of what's here.
I think you could take it out. I mean, we just mentioned it in the problems. So
Yeah, no, that's what I say. I think I would like to have, I'm going to try and do a better sort of a cleanup of all of these comments and then send around one that is almost, well, let's say it's more digestible. It's easier to read. Okay. It'll be easier to read without having all of our side comments on here, and just see if everybody thinks it reads okay. The environmental justice populations. Thanks, Kate, again for focusing on this. I think the only thing I didn't think would probably fit in here would be the, just to say that there are multiple communities, environmental justice communities in surrounding towns such as Westfield, Holyoke, and Easthampton, but outreach to be completed that members from those communities have input to our hazard mitigation plan. I don't think that's necessary nor realistic. I mean, why would I care about Westfield's hazard mitigation plan or they care about Southampton's? I don't see this as anything other than a town focus myself, but tell me what you were thinking.
I think that in the previous hazard mitigation plan, there was a reference to inviting other towns to be able to offer input and nobody showed up.
Yeah, well, and again, I think that would have been, okay, that would be typical, the nobody showed up part. That could have been maybe more relevant when we were just creating the first plan. And needed to have that level of coordination maybe with surrounding towns. As an update, I guess I don't feel that it's that important to reach out to that level. I mean, I think reaching out to the utility companies that would be impacted is probably a first level thought, but I don't know, John, is this something that you would think that we would need to include? And again, Kate, you're focusing on environmental justice communities. So we're talking about minority populations or disadvantaged populations, which again, Southampton doesn't hit that mark, but I don't know in this case that we need to stretch to be sure that we've shown that we can satisfy this, other than saying a few things that we are nearby other communities. But I don't know. I don't want to go overboard for something that isn't realistic and we can't manage.
I
But
agree with it. Because you're right. Yeah, we don't really have them in town. You know, nobody's really downstream from us that would be affected in another town.
mhm.
It is reaching to even get there. If you needed to mention it, and it's an appropriate reach, you know, but it certainly wouldn't take it too far because it doesn't
Yeah.
play in much.
So Kate, just one thing on the US Census Bureau here, the 5.8 population under 65 and all this, was that related to Southampton's census, the 2020
That is
census?
Southampton, that is Southampton.
Southampton's 2020 census. Okay, so I'm just going to note that because that may just be relevant anyway, to have those 2020. So this is the federal, oh goodness gracious, give me a break today. So this is the federal census, right? It comes out every 10 years. Yeah, I think. Oh, it'll do whatever it's doing there. Okay. So some of these statistics might be fine, but again, I think we're making this whole thing longer than they even want. This is really looking at the sample. It's a couple page letter. So we'll see. But again, a lot of this, we've got questions in here that, you know, we can get rid of the question part as well. Non-governmental agencies. So again, probably putting in Eversource, Holyoke Gas and Electric, and Holyoke Waterworks would be my thoughts. And this again, that's in kind of orange, Kate, I guess must have come again from the old plan about putting it in PVPC's newsletter and Chamber of
So
Commerce.
when we had initially talked about this, we had talked about Pioneer Valley doing the plan update, and that's part of their standard process, or what
Okay.
they do when they make hazard mitigation plans. So I had kind of highlighted it as, yeah, you can delete it if you want to, but that's
Okay.
the way that they do outreach.
Okay, but again, yeah, and Ed, we were just saying that they don't, even though we might want PVPC to do our update, what I learned from Mima is that we cannot just simply choose them, even though they did our original plan. Because this is a federal grant, we have to just send an email around to 3 entities and get 3 quotations. So it's not an RFP or anything, it's just a series of quotations. So she said, I wouldn't doubt that that PVPC might be your choice, but you can't just simply give it to them. But she said not to worry about that until after we hopefully get the grant award. And then we have to invite 3 entities to present a cost to us, basically. So
Yeah, it's a little bit of what you and I were talking about last week with on-call engineering, is that the federal procurement requirements are somewhat different than the states. So
Correct.
anytime we get federal money,
Yeah.
we got to pay attention to them.
Yeah, right, yeah. So I think, Kate, this would be just an article in their newspaper, but it wouldn't be inviting other people to come in and be part of our update planning, right? That's not what you're trying to say here, right? It would be notification that PVPC perhaps is, or Southampton is
Oh,
working on
right,
their
yeah,
update.
right. So it's not like an invitation. You're right.
Right, okay, because who would you invite to participate? So I just want to be sure that we answer the, we don't
Feel
get
free
carried.
to delete it if you want to.
Yeah, no, I won't do it here, but I probably will later on. Okay. Meetings and public forums, how many will we have? That's the question. We said a minimum of 5, but so, planning process 8 to 10 months. So it may be like a monthly meeting, or say 5 of those monthly meetings, and then perhaps 2 to 3 of those public meetings. So putting the updated plan out on the website, inviting people to read it and come to a meeting and provide any comments. A separate meeting maybe with the Hamden Ponds Citizen Association, or do they do have a citizen association or something, don't they, over there at Hamden Ponds?
Yeah, Hamden Ponds Association. Yeah.
Association. So I mean, I'm kind of thinking that, that might be a separate one in the development of the updated part itself, but then also a planning, a public meeting where others of the public from around town could give their input, kind of like we had done, I think, with open space and MVP and all those others, right?
I mean, in the same way we add Holyoke gas and electric, would that be one that you'd want to add on to part of a group, or not as would Holyoke gas and electric, or no?
I don't know that they would be a regular member of the planning, and I guess that's a question whether you think on the update part. I don't think we would get them, number one, to be a regular member for 5 or 6 meetings, but
Yeah.
they definitely need to be involved at some point. So certainly at the public meeting, or maybe a separate sending out to Holyoke Gas and Electric and Eversource and Holyoke Waterworks before the draft report, with a draft report, and before it was given to the citizens to look at, or I don't know how to really involve them. I don't know how they were really involved last time.
Yeah, probably involved in the same way that Holyoke gas and electric might be. They're going to have some input for things that concern them, and that's probably all they're going to be attending.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's basically the letter of what we have to put in. Hi guys from Greenway. Bear with us a few more minutes. So that's kind of what we have to put in there. How do I get back to where I gotta go here? Hold on a minute. I don't know if I do this. Can I do this? Where do I go? Where do I go? Alrighty. No, I don't need that. Okay, I don't want that. All right, I guess I don't know how to get out of here, Kate, so I can go find the budget in Google Docs.
It's a separate document.
Well, I'm in the Google Docs folder, and it's a separate document in the Google Docs folder.
Just go to your left tab that says HMG.
Top. Oh, there we go. Thank you. Now you are so brilliant. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, so which one is it? That's the example. I think this could be this one. So let me see if I can share this now. All right, so now of course it won't let me share Zoomland. Give me a break. New share.
Can you double click on it?
Yeah, no, I think it'll. It's just taking a long, there we go. Taking a long time to load. Okay. So this would be the idea of a budget. So this has got the members of the committee in here that would be working on the hazard mitigation plan update. So John, Randall, Tom, Ed, Ian, Jerry, Ron, Eliza, and somebody from the select board or town, we can change that. I could throw in town member, whatever here too. Throwing in, and the figures all came pretty much from the accounting department. Estimating that probably John being the lead, you'd have the most number of hours involved in this. Highway super, probably right next to you, and then Ed and water commissioner, maybe about the same amount of time allocated, a little bit less for Ian, public health, tree warden. They wouldn't be involved, you know, as much as you all might be. That's a thinking anyway. And so this just, and this, I have to go back and look at the fringe calculation. I think that was the sample we got, was to have a 35% fringe rate calculated on here. And so when you do that, this all multiplies itself out. So, and we're not going to have any town cash. This would all be the value of volunteer time. So close to $8,000 of volunteer time, which again gets us at our 25-ish% match if we are asking for $23,000. So our total amount would be 8 and 23. Our total amount would be almost 31, 23 from the feds, and this would be the value of our contribution. So somebody can check my math, but I'm pretty sure I'm hit at least 25% here. I have no idea with hours, but assuming that we had monthly meetings for, you know, an hour and a half meeting for 6 times, plus other stuff. I don't know. I'm just guessing at hours, but we can take a look at this when I clean it up and pass it around, if you think that these hours are not realistic. But I was just trying to proportionally figure out that the EMD would have the most hours, followed by the highway super and the water superintendent, and Ed right around the same, and then less for these other people involved. Did anything strike anybody as wacko in there? Ed or anybody?
No.
Really a stab in the dark, guys. I really don't know.
I think it's okay to stab in the dark.
Yeah.
We're good at that these days, I tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a good guesstimate.
All right. All right. Well, we'll take care of that. Let's see what else is here. I'm going to stop sharing that one, and I'm going to do one last one. And this one, I think the wonderfulness is that we may not need it at all from what I was told. There was something else we had in this form as
The invoices from Verizon, eh?
an SOI. So let's see here, come up here. This is it. Let's see if this will come up. I may not have done this right.
Right.
Okay, so then there was this other that we were just looking at, was called an LOI. This was the SOI.
Yeah.
And this is where there had to be, let's see, there had to be some level of, part of it was just check-in boxes, but here there was something about the purpose and intended impact and things like this. Get down here a little bit. So here is where I had tried to fill in. Sorry, Ed, you're noisy over there. Somebody's talking to you, I'm sure.
I will bust you to win,
So,
you know.
okay, so here is where I tried to put in some level of a scope of work, and I think this may not be necessary here. I might be able to cut and paste it if I need to in that other document we were looking at. But this was my thought in terms of how the process might go for an update based on what I know we did with the master plan update. So however many meetings with the committee, review all the chapters of the existing plan, determine what's outdated and edited as needed, meet with the residents of Hamden Ponds, solicit members for additional hazards not identified before, consult with public utility stakeholders, figure out some criteria to apply to the risks that we have or our vulnerabilities and agree upon those, update any maps, inventory the various departments' ability to respond to any unforeseen hazards and any shortfalls that there might be within that department to actually tackle that particular hazard, establish the risks in a priority order, determine that we have an appropriate action plan, that it's, we know what we're doing. If there's a hazard with, some, mini tornado or something, we know what we're doing to respond to that. Update the plan for public comment and then submit it after feedback to FEMA. How's that sound to everybody? Again, off the top of my head. Any comments, thoughts about this?
No,
Yeah, go ahead, John.
no, I was just saying that looks good. No.
Yeah. Okay, first thing I would do from your earlier comments, Chris,
Yep.
is where it says guidance of a facilitator from PVPC.
Oh, yeah.
I'd erase from PVPC and just guidance of a facilitator.
Yep. Thank you. Yep. Will do. Yeah.
And then I don't know if you really want to, list out and up to 2 meetings relative to the Hamden Ponds area, or just say, and up to 2 meetings relative to any specific project or hazard.
Okay. Any hazard. Okay. Yeah. Rather than.
That leaves it a little more open-ended.
Yeah, no, that's a good
all.
point. That's a good point. Okay. I think having 4 public meetings would not be really realistic. So I think having a total of 2, which could incorporate Hamden Ponds is what you're saying, not necessarily. I mean, there might still be a mini discussion. We're having them at a meeting, but then to have a public meeting would not just include them. It would be 1 or maybe 2 meetings where everybody has the same abilities to attend the meeting and provide their comments.
Right.
Okay, that's fine. And that's basically it. Where I got confused is down at the very end where it was all this FEMA go, and then it says does not apply to HMGP as I read the fine print. So in my talking to my buddy at MEMA this morning, she said, oh, you don't really have to worry about the SOI so much, because that's really if you applied for the BRIC grant or FEMA directly. But because you're applying for the HMPG, it's the other 2 documents that are more important. So I will definitely talk to her one more time to be sure, but it may be that we only have to submit the earlier one that we had looked at that has all the purple and blue and that I said I would clean up, and the budget. That may be it. Definitely need to get it in next week so that it hits them before the February 1st deadline. And they will, MEMA is where this will go to Boston. It's basically an email. It's not even an online form from what she clarified for me today.
Oh, wow.
And then they forward it on to FEMA, and FEMA will get back to us in 3 or 4 months, probably, maybe. Summertime, probably, realistically, depending on FEMA. So even though it's not a big grant like this, it is a federal program. So FEMA has to be the ultimate reviewer. Okay. So that's kind of what I know. So I think we're getting there, guys. And thanks everybody for input. What I will commit myself to doing is doing some cleanup so I can go back in and then send around to everybody what's a readable version that you don't have all the notes and what about questions in there. Okay. And then we can see how good we are with that. And maybe we'll be pretty close to letting it go. But it's certainly by mid next week, I would like to be done with it. Okay.
So you're going to send that out as an attachment, not.
Yeah, I think I'll probably, once I clean it up in Google Docs, I might just copy it out and just send it as an attachment in email. Just because it might be easier to read that way.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, I'll do something to make it a little bit easier. I know we're all not as adept at Google Docs. I am definitely not. So good. thanks, everybody. So John, I appreciate your coming in and thanks for that. And if you would, at some point in your discussions, would you let, Randall and Tom and everybody know that this is happening?
Oh, yeah,
The
I've already,
so-called committee?
yeah, I've talked to them, so they know. I think
Okay.
they'll be what we expect from them.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's good. So I think, yeah, we'll get it cleaned up and I'll send it out to you and you might want to just circulate it, to all those members of the quote unquote committee. And
Sure.
just, give them a heads up before we submit it. But I think that would be great. It just didn't seem feasible to invite people to come to this meeting and try to give input, and it's just too complicated, quite honestly. So,
No, I think that's fine. And if they have any, but like you say, I can send it out to them, and if they've got anything, we'll bring it back.
very good. All right. I thank you so much. Appreciate it, John.
Yep.
Okay.
No,
feel
nice
better. Hope things go well.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, John.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
And
Okay.
my apologies, I'm gonna have to sign off and get
Oh.
ready to go to another meeting, so,
Really? The nerve.
yeah. And one IT function in between that, so.
Oh, okay. All right.
Take
Well,
care.
thanks for popping in at least.
You're welcome.
All right. Good. All right. Well, hi guys from Greenway Land. How
Hi
are
there.
y'all?
Good, how you doing?
Oh, pretty good. Pretty good. Now I need to get rid of some of these documents here. And I want to get into, tell you what, maybe, let's see, can I do this? Hold on just a minute. I'm going to see if I can get out of this document and get into the Mass Trails one while I'm not totally lost here. Just a second.
And Mark, while she's doing that, can I just confirm your last name?
It's Cassis, that's a Kassis.
Got it. Perfect. Sorry, I'm just drafting some minutes here. Thank you.
Okay, so we're gonna go to draft 3 of Mass Trails. And hope it opens for me. Oh, very good. Magic. Okay. All righty.
I think this application looks awesome. Thank you so much for your help.
Yeah, no, it's all working great. So yeah, no, thanks Ellen and Mark and Aaron, everybody who's contributed there. And we've had some comments here and there, but you guys have done the heavy lifting on this one. So, okay, I think beginning part is quite good. We did add in that we had the 3rd grant from Mass Trails so that they know that. I did make a few edits and comments, and we'll see if we can see them all in this.
Before
this
we go
document.
ahead on that,
I can make it maybe a
Chris,
10. Yes, go ahead. Yep.
back to 1.7, are those the right years for the Manhan Meadows? Is it 2000 and 2021, 2020 and 2021?
I believe so. Yeah, Diana. Yes, I think.
Yes.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Yep, they were. So there's the first phase and the second phase grant, and the second phase came in actually at the same time as our Mass Trails grant. Yeah. So actually, maybe we should wait a minute. Those are all Mass Trails, right? So Mass Trails grant. This was for the. Oh, maybe we should add in here right-of-way acquisition, railroad acquisition.
Yeah, I think so,
Great.
just to clarify.
Do you want me to put it in there now or?
I think I can do it.
Okay, or Greenway?
That's right away. Well, I'll go back and double check how we called it last time, whatever its title was. Acquisition, hopefully is somewhat spelled right. Okay. Yep. So as we do this, this should be live and these should stay as changes. One hopes. Okay. So then this one becomes rail corridor, the new project title, rail corridor design, engineering, permitting. I didn't know if we could just say rail corridor design. Is that sufficient? Or do you want to have all this written out like this? Because you have talked about it right down here. Is this big enough? Can everybody see it? I can make it a little bigger.
I think they go together. That's really what we're asking for the whole package, but that's my 2 cents.
Okay. All right, so we'll leave it the way it is. Okay. That's fine.
I just didn't know if we should include the word Greenway.
Well, good point. I don't know. Guys, thoughts?
Maybe, can we put Greenway and then in parentheses rail corridor or rail trail?
We have 5 words.
Maximum 5 words, okay.
Does it make more sense to get rid of rail corridor and replace it with greenway?
Okay, good.
I looked at that for like 10 minutes and I'm like, is it a greenway or is it the rail corridor? And then I'm like, you know what, just let it go.
Okay, how about Greenway design, engineering and permitting? Does that work?
I'm okay with it.
Yep.
All right. Okay, moving on down. This was reading okay. I think I have to put it back up to 100% here, guys. If you guys can see it any better than I can, or else I have to move it somehow. Or actually, let me just adjust I need to put you guys out of my way here so I can see the screen. But anyway, I'm gonna put it back up to 100. Okay. So this was
I
basically,
think you're correct. It should be but.
yeah. So this would be, yeah, we'll just do this because it looked like something had fallen off here. So yeah, that's fine. Now I'll go back in and add my things here. So, and do we say, Diana, is it not only but also, or just?
But also, not only, but also.
That's what I
Yeah.
thought. Thank you. Okay. I need my grammarian here. Perfect. All right. Total project, 400, 300 out of here, asking for 100,000 of CPA. Design engineering, shared use path. We were all there last time, runners, hikers, the whole bit. I think we were good. The starting point and all these coordinates all came from the original grant application. That all looked fine. And then here we are with, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I had my mute button on. You know where you went back to the, but also?
Yep.
I think the verbs don't match.
Okay. Will not only provide recreational opportunities when converted to a shared use trail, but also, we're missing something, yeah.
Will provide. Will provide a critical piece.
Well, that is the same verb.
I know, yeah, but it's so separate that it just kind of sounds funny.
I think
Then-
but also provide makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, or maybe, how about, it could be the
Good
unused
time.
railroad will provide both recreational opportunities and a critical piece or something like that.
Yes.
Okay,
Will
Well,
fill?
Yeah, just to avoid the repetition, you could do that.
What
yeah,
about will fill?
I'm gonna let Diana, I'm gonna assign Diana to tidy that one up, okay?
Yeah.
Not right now, but
Yeah.
that's,
Okay.
I think we can make that a yes, less confusing and wordy or less wordy
Okay.
sentence. Yes, good point. So you could do that. Yep. Down here into 211 is where we are. So I said here, verify with Daniel, is this a true statement? Did some of the easements already get resolved? I didn't know, when I was referring to this last sentence here.
I'm going to suggest we just drop it.
We could, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Is
Um,
that an Ed question? Because I actually don't know the status of any of
Yeah.
the easements, temporary or otherwise.
I don't know. I think a lot of that happened during, remember that packet of information I gave you, Aaron, from somebody I got? A lot of that had easement stuff in there. So I know some work definitely was done on easements, quite a bit actually. But
Hmm.
I don't know here. For me, the Mass DOT process, and I could be totally wrong, when I hear Mass DOT process, I hear more the construction phase of things.
Well, no. Well, the rail banking eliminates the issue of the easement. Well, there's an issue of temporary easement while you're doing building and assessing until the rail banking is completed. Once the acquisition rail banking is completed, I don't think it's an issue. So it's a complicated area that's, I think, gets into the legal area between the railroad and the town. And dropping it out may be the easiest for this purpose.
Okay, because I think we said right above, the town is currently finalizing the acquisition, should be completed before June 2022. I think we could do away with this sentence and we wouldn't lose any any sleep over it. Okay, I don't know
Right.
that I don't know that it's crucial for anybody's understanding. Let's put it that way.
Yeah,
So
not
are we-
only that, it might snag it a little bit.
It might just confuse things in terms of what easements are we talking about, temporary, permanent, et cetera. Because I think in that rail banking process, we had included some money in the budget in case we had to pay for some legal work to do some easement. So I think you're right in a sense that during this process of acquiring the corridor, if there's any easement stuff to be done, a large part of it would be done hopefully during this first phase here. Okay.
Are we gonna eliminate it right now?
Um,
I'll
I
take
can,
it out.
Just take it
okay,
out.
you can go ahead and take it out. Perfect.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, yep. Okay, I guess, yep. All right, oh no, okay. All right. Okay, so I think all the standards for accessibility, we just had to say yes. That'll be addressed in the final design. No purchase of steel and equipment at this point in time in this particular project. We put in the PNF number or the year and the project number for the tip, I believe. And then this was all their narrative craziness. And then coming down here, what, I don't know what this would will work in partnership. What did I have here? Why was there something here?
We only had the town will work with DOT and you wanted the town and an engineering firm.
Oh, okay, there we go. Yep. So just something to complete that a little bit. I think it will be, you know, we will engage essentially in some level of an engineering firm to work with Mass DOT. So I think we could just throw in the town and its selected engineering firm or something like that.
Yes. Yep.
Okay,
Yes.
so we can,
Go
you
ahead
know,
and
that's,
do that.
yeah. All
Yep.
right. Let's see.
And the selected engineering firm, yeah. Great.
Okay. All right, perfect. Okay, let's see. So here, I wasn't sure that we had everything we needed to answer this next question, but I highlighted here in 3.2. Sorry, it says include specific locations, starting and endpoints and distances. So describe the specific tasks, trail surface material, any proposed structures involved. So we had, at some point, we had talked about, you know, at some point, some benches and kiosks and whatever. I don't see why we have to do that in this particular project, however, because we're just doing, well, I guess in a design, you'd want to know that you were going to have 10 benches and 2 interpretive talking kiosks or something. I suppose that would be part of the design.
No, it's weird because they already included the information about the trail location with starting and ending points like 2 questions ago.
I know.
Under,
that-
and under
Yeah.
3.1, it also has more specific information about a paved 10 to 12 foot wide, accommodate multiple uses,
yeah.
may involve equestrian, may talked about signage.
What is
so-
the question, when you were just over it, Chris, but maybe we look at the question before it and see if we could just move that information. It seems so redundant.
Well, describe the tasks, be as specific as possible about the steps a grant will take.
Just
So
no,
again,
look
this-
at 3.1.
Well, but again, the grant is asking for money to get a engineering consultant to develop a plan to meet those needs.
Yeah,
So-
to a design. So
We don't even have the design yet.
correct. So that's why I'm just asking, that's why I highlighted, I'm just asking is, do we need to worry about putting in any more specificity? Because we have covered it about 3 questions ago in terms of all the endpoints, longitude, latitude, et cetera. I can't imagine that we need to say anything more here, but it just struck me as funny when I read the, you know, I just want to be sure that we're responding to the needs of the question. That's all.
Could we
My 2
add in like
cents is-
just the starting and ending point?
I mean, we could maybe, you know, make a reference here, the following steps of designing the greenway from the Coleman Road to Route 10.
Yeah, you
And-
could put that in the first bulleted thing, 'cause right after the 3.5-mile abandoned railroad corridor.
Okay,
Extending from Coleman Road to
Spanning
Route 10.
from,
yeah,
yeah.
oh, there we go. So, let's go ahead, Ellen, what'd you say? Something from,
Corridor, extending from
thank you.
Coleman Road to Route 10.
Thanks, that's where I was just a little bit,
You can even say as detailed above or something like that if you want to, but.
yeah, I would just leave it like there. All right, and then I'm just gonna check whether this is an RFQ or RFP. I'll just work that out with Ed in terms of what this is actually gonna be.
Okay,
And then here, just to, you know, could just say to, we'll work with DOT and contractors to undertake construction, just to tidy it up, that's all. Not to begin and end, but to undertake eventually.
yeah.
Oops. Oh, there we go. To undertake. Come on, Chris. I love editing in public here. Undertake. If anybody has to leave, we're approaching the 3 o'clock mark. I would like if Mark and Ellen could hang in with me, but if
Sure.
Kate and or Diana, you need to leave, I understand. And Aaron, it's up to you too, to undertake the
Construction.
the construction, right? We'll get there. Okay, so that's good, and I'm gonna get rid of this.
Yeah,
Gotta get rid of that bullet, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, oops, yeah, that too.
There you
Okay.
go.
Mark, my comments are hidden for me, so if you want to go in and just kill that comment, you can.
okay,
And also somehow construction has to be moved.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, perfect. All right, we're getting there, guys. So there's one piece that I would like, Diana, if you do have to leave, there's one part that I really do want your help on. Oops, come on, my cursor, come on now. Not now. Okay, so here we are.
I don't have to leave. I have all the time in the world.
Oh, wonderful. Great. Thank you. All right. So here we are with how it will fill in a critical gap. Let's see. Is this the one? Okay. This is the one, guys. And I'm sorry. I maybe I was reading this very late last night, so it could be me. I felt that this was a bit confusing in this first paragraph. I know we were trying to add in specific references to the various regional, the whole greenway on the East Coast pretty much, and how this all ties in.
Mhm.
But I was wondering if a couple of these sentences might be out of order or something, because I had to read it a few times to sort of figure out if I could visually understand where Southampton's greenway is. So we've got an 81-mile New Haven Northampton Canal Greenway, and I had suggested we could say to the south to add here.
but again, that it will include us. It's not
that's
just to
to
the
the-
south, it goes through Southampton.
Yeah.
But it's an excellent point. That's a north-south. I think it's good to say the north's,
So let's look at the whole paragraph and then we can come back to it. Okay. So Northampton, New Haven, Northampton Canal Greenway, the Southampton Greenway. So we say this again, will connect to the Manhattan Trail in Easthampton, which connects to the Northampton Bikeway. In doing so, it will connect to the 104-mile mass trails from Northampton to Boston. So now we've got us down toward New Haven. We've got Easthampton to Northampton, and now we've got Northampton to Boston. And then we talk about it ultimately connecting to the Greenway in Westfield, and then going through Southwick. So it's all useful information. It's just, it feels like it's a mishmash in the wrong order for me, that anybody who doesn't have a clue what we're talking about and tried to visualize where in the world is this greenway,
mhm.
would be kind of confused, or maybe it's just me. I'm willing to sit back and say, forget it. But you guys tell me if you share that opinion or if not, that's fine.
Two things. One is, I think Amanda Lewis and the people reviewing this know the geography pretty well.
Yeah.
And they, she knew exactly the issues in Southampton when I spoke with her. So that part we should just may make it easier.
But don't think that Amanda Lewis is the only person that's going to be
Yeah,
reviewing
yeah.
this. This gets passed
Yeah.
around to lots of different people in departments. So you're going to run up to somebody who says, I don't even know where Southampton is. I mean, you could do that. I mean, and they're going to want to see more documents. So, I mean, yes, you're right, Mark, but let's not get caught in that because.
Okay.
But wait, I don't think Amanda's on that final board that does the review.
She might not be.
Could be.
I don't know.
Could be.
I don't know.
No.
So yes, Amanda's our friend, but we don't know where she gets in the mix of this. So I just wanted to be clear. And then we jump down. And so this is kind of lined out in 3 parts. I mean, there was something that was local, regional, and statewide.
That's like another question. I think that's another question.
Well, no, it's, go ahead.
I think, if you're talking about reading it in a way that feels logical to people, you could say to the south, the Southampton Greenway connects to Westfield. To the north, it connects to Easthampton and Northampton. In connecting to Northampton, it also connects to the east-west, Mass Trail. And you could use the names of each of those little segments, the Manhan Rail Trail, the Columbia Greenway, as modifiers. But that way, in the reader's head, they say, okay, the south goes to Westfield and Hartford. To the north goes to Easthampton and Northampton. The northern connection goes east-west beyond that.
Yeah.
And maybe the opening to that paragraph could be like a statement of acknowledgement about how this particular phase of rail trail development will close multiple gaps, right? It's not just, I don't know how to say that. It's like one of those sentences you just have to think about, but maybe that would be a good opening sentence for that paragraph.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like that idea, and I kind of wanted to share. I mean, not to nitpick, but we're completing this particular corridor doesn't actually fill the gap, which is sort of a problem. We don't want to exaggerate too much because we're not technically connecting to Westfield, and I also wasn't sure if we really wanted to take the claim that Westfield is working on something and with Mass DOT and sure, I mean they may be, but it's not totally relevant to Southampton for this particular application. So I was kind of thinking maybe one simple statement similar to what Caitlin said of just Southampton is working to fill the gap, to bridge the opening between two successful portions north and south of the town. Just keep it simple.
Okay.
So I'm not sure who's going to rewrite this, but we also then want to keep the detail of the mileage of those other two.
Yeah, I'm just typing in notes here, and if Ellen, you sounded like you were talking it out loud pretty good. If you want to take a first stab at it or whatever, we can decide that. I'm just putting a couple of notes here so we don't lose the thought process. Okay. We won't spend our time, writing in public and then editing it right now, but just to note that that's something that it just felt like it was pretty awkward to me as I was reading it. I just had a hard time. Oops, I didn't want to do that. Sorry. Oh, God.
So the last two lines in blue may be a good, that introductory piece. Starting at the Mass DOT, identified Southampton Greenway as a priority corridor.
Sorry, whereabouts? Down.
Starting in the third line in blue, towards the end, it says Mass DOT.
Yeah.
So if that actually moves up to the top of where we're talking about, that sort of sets the tune, and Southampton is working.
Yeah. Do you want the rails to
that
trails
part.
part in there too?
Actually, maybe, it's hard to rework this as a group. It's just some of it right now, but I think
You know, Mark, maybe at the end of the meeting, you and I can just rework these 2 paragraphs and then forward them.
Send it out. Okay.
Or the paragraphs separately, maybe, yeah,
Yep.
without, if you want to do, I'm just taking it out of here though, so that's fine. It's good, it'll let me do this part. Oh, not that part, come on now. Okay, anyway, onward, next, okay,
I'm sorry, you wanted, okay, go ahead.
so I moved it up here, Mark, so it's up here, that's
Great,
it.
okay, gotcha. Good, yep. Mhm.
So this
Okay.
is, all in red and this blue up top here is what you guys can rework for this paragraph here, this one that's whatever color it is.
Yep,
Okay,
great.
I think it can be a little bit better. So if you want to work that first and then send it around, that'd be great. Or you can do it in Google Docs and we'll see it as we go. I think all that was okay. Let's see, environmental justice. We had a few things that were here and I was just checking. I added, the in here, and I just want to be sure that this, Kate, in terms of the figures here, was this from the town census or the federal census?
I think that was from last year's application, because I didn't
And
copy
actually,
that
it's-
in.
That's wrong.
So-
I looked that up. Unfortunately, it's
Okay.
way off. I looked it up before the meeting and it's actually much lower. It's 19% of the 6,224 over age 65. And I think that comes out in the
I'm just-
range of 1,214.
Okay, I'm just gonna write 19% of
19.5% of the 6,224.
19.5%. Hang on.
Yep.
So why don't we just change it to that, whatever that is?
It can say it's 1,214.
So just change the number.
Yeah, I think we should just change the number, like,
Yep, no, I was just,
1,200.
yep, I'm gonna do it right now.
Yeah.
And
And that's over 65?
Yeah, over age 65, and then you can get rid of it after that.
Yeah,
That's the April 2020 census.
so get rid of this and another 90.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Do we need to put a percentage in here?
It's actually down below if in that percentage form, further down in the document.
Okay. The most recent town census tallied 1,214 residents over age 65.
Yeah, just, there's a little typo there, not THAS, but just HAS. Yep, perfect.
And so you don't want to put a percentage in here then?
Oh, if you want, but the paragraph below, the 3.5 in the first paragraph has that percentage.
Down below, yeah, okay.
Yep.
Okay,
I
well,
tried to mix this one up a little bit and added in like a new Mass DOT study that was done in 2019 that I thought was pretty relevant.
this is on number 3.5.
3.4 and 3.5. The Massachusetts Municipal Guide to Bikeability references how low-income people are more likely to bike, and bicycling to school is more common among children from low-income families.
That's in. Wait, which number though? 3?
Must be 3.4.
No, I'm not seeing it through. Is it there? Oh, yeah, right there. Okay. Mass, that's where I added it. Yeah, the Mass Municipal Bikeable. Yeah. Oh, I already did that. Never mind. I'll go back and change that. Yep. Oh, no. Yeah, okay, never mind. Lord, stop it. Just stop it. I'll get out of there in a minute. Okay, we'll deal with it later. So yes, that's where you added in the Mass Municipal Guide for Bikeability. Got it. Okay, perfect. Okay, running on down here. I think we're there. So these census figures are okay then.
Correct.
I think I do have some figures for Lucy in terms of our environmental justice population numbers, which are pretty minimal percentage wise, if we had to put that in somewhere. I just got some figures from her today, so I can add that if we need to have
Can I
that.
just say one thing, you should
Yeah.
begin that sentence with 19.5% down there.
Right here.
Yeah, so you could just put a colon after
Benefit.
benefit, and that would do it.
Yep. Okay, thank you. Yeah. It doesn't like that. Okay. Okay. Yep. I'm gonna just check this percentage. I'm not sure. 4.4%. That seems high to me, but I'll double check that.
That's Asian, everything except white.
Yeah. I'll look and see what Lucy gave me to be sure that
Okay,
that's.
I had checked it, but that's great.
Okay. No, that's fine. If you did, that's great. Perfect. Okay, and then Easthampton and Westfield more diverse. So is this something you've added here, Kate, maybe? Or is this from the other grant, maybe?
That was there from the prior grant.
Okay.
I did tweak it a little bit, so it's just not super copy paste.
Okay.
But that's the things that the state suggested you should do to get input from. This is what we did for the splash pad was.
Right. I guess
similar.
Yeah, for the splash pad, we did do that. When we're talking about design though of, this is a question I guess I had about public hearings in other predominant languages and translation services. I mean, this would be, do we envision any kind of a public hearing being beyond Southampton?
Can you invite anybody to a public hearing? Isn't a public hearing? Is it
It's
a public hearing?
Anybody, yeah, anybody could attend. Yes. But I mean, to the thought about, advertising in other languages and having interpretive services and having those communities give feedback on this particular project, because we are connecting between two towns with environmental justice communities, it may be appropriate. I just want to get anybody's thoughts about that.
Do we want to commit ourselves to that at this point or leave that open?
We
I
can
would tend to not
certainly
commit.
remove it.
Well, we could couch it a little bit, under, for consideration or something like that, as appropriate, we will consider having public hearings. I don't know. What's anybody think? Environmental justice is a biggie for many of these grants, but we just don't fit the bill with our fairly unique community in itself. We can couch this language a little bit, maybe not be quite not so definite.
I don't know if it's helpful, but I spoke with some Westfield folks on their Greenway board the other night, and they actually were looking to expand signage and having it translated to Russian because of their strong Russian population. And that a study, a quote unquote non-scientific study, they had found that a lot of bicycle related accidents were in fact with Russian speaking residents. So that's a consideration of theirs. Again, not really Southampton, but it's not far off from a community. So I don't know. It's not wrong, but it's not directly related perhaps.
Right. But
I got feedback from Westfield about the same exact thing, and about advertising community feedback in Spanish for Easthampton too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you just, in the first sentence there, you say further public outreach events will be important in the design phase. And you could just say a couple of,
for example,
signage in multiple languages,
We could-
directions toward community, signage that directs riders.
I think
to-
that would go down lower though, right? Public outreach events, like we're talking about the planning phases, but maybe additional considerations.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, well,
My sense is that it's important, but
Yeah.
you don't really want to dilute the,
right, I won't underline. Well,
the
yeah,
point of the paragraph.
let's note that we've got to do something with this, okay?
Yeah.
Oops, wrong one again. Oh, give me a break. Oh, Lordy, Lordy, Lordy.
Right, it's interesting, you can't even read it.
I just,
Isn't
I
that
can't
interesting?
today. This is not my day. I've had too many Zoom. Oh, let's see, we're getting
You
better.
just
here.
undo. Go up to that little undo button.
Where'd that white one go? There we go. There we go. Maybe.
One last thought. Do we need the word cities in the very first sentence? Neighboring cities, Easthampton and Westfield are more diverse.
Yeah, neighboring cities. Sure.
I don't know if that's necessary.
Yep. Comma, Diana, or no?
Wait, where are we?
I think it's,
First
Well,
sentence, neighboring
I think
cities.
it's a redo. I think it's,
Where are you asking about a comma?
Up here, neighboring, oh,
Second
well,
paragraph.
hang on, neighboring cities, Easthampton and Westfield. Should there be a comma after cities is my
No, I
question.
don't think so.
or you
No.
can say more diverse cities.
Okay, we'll just leave it here.
Yeah, you
I
could
just-
just take cities out. You could just say neighboring.
Well, that's what we had. We just added,
That's how it was.
we added,
Oh,
we added the word in. Thank you, Kate.
Sorry.
I'd be here all day doing that. Thank you.
Say are more diverse cities.
yeah, you could do that, what Ellen just said.
Oh, are more diverse cities. Thank you.
Neighboring Easthampton and Westfield are more diverse cities.
Yeah, that sounds better.
Yeah.
There we go. There we go. Boy,
No,
you're
no,
getting-
don't take out the neighboring, leave, well,
Well, I can.
I think it makes sense to leave in the neighboring, because I
Yeah.
mean,
yeah.
Okay, got it. Getting too quick here with my cursor. All right, so we know that we got to do a little bit of tweaking on this, just a little bit, okay?
Yep.
All right, we'll keep on going here so we don't spend more time here. We'll get through this quick. I think we're down to about the end here. So we did that already. Where are we here? Yep. We had said June earlier, I think. So I don't know if we should say
Yeah.
June.
June's good.
Okay. And then I don't know what else happened in here. Let's see. Oh, this is where something didn't yeah, I guess I was wondering here. Expected modifications and overgrowth and lack of maintenance in recent decades. I mean, is this okay? I mean, I don't know. I mean, they're talking about a maintenance plan. So if something was done decades ago, we can't really say that it's,
Doesn't sound recent.
yeah.
You just say recent years.
Oh, just to get rid, just ended maintenance and lack of maintenance, period.
Okay. That's easy.
Sure.
We can do that. We can do that. All right. I don't know if that period's still there. We'll try it again. Yeah, maybe it's gone. Okay, good. All right. Plan for construction and maintenance is in the prior studies. Okay. At some point in time, I mean, I noticed the other day after the snowstorm, Easthampton was well maintained and plowed and whatever else. And I thought to myself, yeah, who's going to do that in Southampton? That's a whole big issue that highway department will have, I'm sure. Let's see. Aside from those needed, so we don't know yet that, so we might just say that may be needed, because we don't know yet that you guys have sent the letter off to Mass Historic and Endangered Species.
Mhm.
So we don't know for sure. We think so, but we'll play dumb for a while.
And it's historical.
Yeah. All right.
You want may be 2 words.
Thank you. I tell you, between the autocorrect on my phone and my abilities here, going crazy. All right. Sounds good.
Aside from those, that may be needed.
Yeah, there's not. You should take out, you either have to say aside from permits that may be needed.
The permits,
yeah.
that's good.
Those doesn't have an antecedent there.
Right.
Yep. Okay, yep. Aside from permits that may be needed from MHC. Yep. Sounds good. All right. Environmental review. So this was my question. We had an environmental study before, which you gave me a copy of, Mark. Are we saying that we need another environmental study here?
We don't need another environmental study, but we may need permitting.
Right.
But
But it says here will be required, so I was confused. An environmental review of the properties located along the Greenway will be required.
It's actually, review is not the right word, but the design is gonna have to addressing environmental issues.
Okay, I'm just gonna,
maybe we can say that, addressing environmental issues.
okay, I'm just gonna put this in parentheses and you guys can play with it,
No.
okay?
Yeah, it does say that in the previous paragraph.
Yeah, okay. So just a note, I'll just keep this highlighted too, so see if I can do the right one this time. Can I do the right one? God knows, text
Read it
color,
back.
highlight color. Gonna try highlighting. Will that work? Okay, we like it this time. Okay. Just to see what, just not to contradict ourselves, that's all. So I didn't know here, let's see, residual 100,000 available for design costs. That's true. And I think I said I would, if we need to, I'll get a copy of the vote we could use as an attachment. It depends on the attachments. They only allow you a certain number of attachments, so we have to really figure out which ones we want. But so whatever I've said over here in paragraph that I can't totally read, design process will include opportunity for input via scheduled public meetings, information on the Greenway. I guess I was suggesting some level of expansion on here, maybe in this paragraph, and that there is a Friends of the Greenway, I think. I don't know if Aaron, you had a chance to reach out to anybody yet or not.
I did, and the responses were that it is just continuing to be dormant. No one really stepped up and said, yes, I want to rehabilitate it. So as of right now, I would prefer to say that there's no active Friends of the Greenway, or just eliminate the topic.
Okay.
Are you able to find out whether there's still a 501c3?
I have not heard details. I asked about it specifically too, and no one shared account
we didn't
information
get
or
feedback.
details back.
Yeah,
Did you reach out to Tammy, did you?
Yes.
and I
Okay.
tried reaching Jen Roberge and she hasn't responded.
Yeah, I don't know, once you're a 501c3, I don't know that you necessarily go away, except that you're supposed to do some annual filings.
That was my hope. I was hoping there was some active account information somewhere so it could be revisited later. But I don't know. I don't know how to track it down, or if there was an account owner, or if it's with the town. No
We
one's
have
volunteered it.
I think
Yeah.
for this purpose in the grant, to not have it in there. No.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. It's not in there now. It's just a comment. So I just didn't know if there's any other things in terms of what will happen. We said here that the opinions have evolved, it's evident, but we acknowledge that we need to do some more public outreach. So we did, during the study process, a public forum was held at that time. So this was just some ideas of whether you thought we needed to say that we're going to have opportunities for input as we do the design. We're still going to get pushback, right? And we also have to kind of engage in some level of a public education campaign to get people on board to support this, right? So that's all I was thinking. So
I think it's a good point. And your comment out there is good. Like, we could just say the design process will include and continue all the way up through will be provided via social media, period. And we don't have to say anything about committing to a Facebook page or the Friends of the Greenway or anything that
Okay.
we're not sure of.
All right. All right. That's fine.
That sound
Kate, you,
good?
yeah,
I think
Kate,
the
you want to
point
do a
is-
little delete
Yep.
on the last part of my
Well,
comment there?
before you do that, the other
Yeah.
option would be switching the will after the Greenway to a may be provided by a social media dedicated Facebook page or convening the friends. That's another
Yeah.
option.
So change, in the second sentence, change the will to a may?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. We can,
May include right up here.
Yep.
no, that one leave,
Okay.
because you definitely want to sound like you're committing to public input.
Okay, Kate, I'll let
but-
you be the driver there, please.
Sure.
I'm just gonna put may in there so I remember to
No, let Kate do it. She's in it, I think.
do it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find where you are.
So
Uh,
in-
right here in my comment,
Christine- Yeah,
comment across from 3.8.
Third
Yeah.
line down.
3.8.
it's in Chris's
Yeah.
In the
it's in
comment
Chris's comment.
box. You see my
So hit
comment?
check, remove it?
No,
If you hit the
wanna
check, it will move into
get rid of
the,
the reference of the Greenway. I mean, the Friends. Anyway. I can't get into my box here for some reason. So in my comment box, we want to shorten my comment. My comment is not totally correct.
3.8.
I think if
So
we leave
in-
it as,
Yeah, we would just
Leave
want
it
to
as
edit the
may.
comment box, but I can do that later. Don't worry about it. I'll do it later.
Can I just make just a tiny thing in that sentence, in that paragraph, at our recent annual town meeting voted? I think you're missing, that's like a prepositional phrase, so you either have to say, our recent annual town meeting voted, or at our recent annual town meeting, comma, residents,
Residents voted,
yeah, residents voted.
Okay,
yes.
Yep.
Yeah, how did that drop out? Anyway.
okay, that part's there. That's good.
Mhm.
Chris, I can't edit your comment either if it makes you feel any
Oops.
better.
Oh, it's fine.
if we hit the check, it may move it into the paragraph.
What happened?
I don't know. I don't know what happened there now. Something.
I thought that was my screen. I'm like trying to like exit out of there. Like, what's
Oh,
going
Lord.
on?
I hope it didn't get lost.
No, it's
Well,
still
then I
there.
think there's, you may not want to X out. I think there's 2 tabs.
Yeah.
Oh.
Screen sharing has stopped. Okay. All right. I think we were pretty much close to the end here. This this is a nightmare. Okay. Where are we at? So the budget is not too much to deal with, and the timeline, I think you guys had done fairly well. This is really, we were right at the very end of, that was like 3.9 or something. And most of the rest of it is just double checking what kind of attachments we want. I don't know. We definitely need, there were requirements. We definitely need some maps. I'll see if I can get in again. Just a second. Will it let me in? No, it's not going to let me in right now. All right, never mind. Are you in it, Mark? I can't.
I am in it.
Okay.
And I sent an email with what I recommended as attachments. And I also added things to the Mass
Yeah.
Trail folder. So they
Yeah.
wanted a Mass GIS map, which I should probably relabel it, but I do have a map there. I have the phase 1 environmental study from Ty and Bond. I have the letter from National Heritage Endangered Species and the Mass Historical. And we also had a link to the feasibility study. They said they would accept a link.
And can we put it right in the narrative though, Mark, or do we have to use that other? Thing
We
that
can
Diana
put it,
mentioned?
actually, I think we can put it down at the end where with the list links to it. You can just put the link down there.
Okay, all right.
And
So-
let me just see if it's,
So
what
we do
form
want
it's
the
in.
environmental, and do we want the bridge and culvert study as well?
yes, thank you. That was the other one.
All right,
So
And
actually, the draft has them all listed, including
yeah,
that link.
okay. And there were the photos that we put in the first one, which were just, and again, everything's got to be PDF'd, right? So I had taken half a dozen photos out of the feasibility study, put them in a Word document, PDF'd it, so that can be an attachment. if you want more, they want that GIS map, but if you wanted to put in the topo map and then that other one that shows the sections of the greenway, I mean, you could have 3 maps. They just have to be in one file.
Okay.
So you could have the GIS one first. You know, it would be a 3-page file, that's all, and it gets attached as one PDF file. I could combine those if you want me to.
If you could, or send them to me so I can, but if you know how to do it easily, that's fine.
Okay, all right. So we could have a maps. We've got some photos. We've got the link to the feasibility. We've got the actual environmental and bridge culvert, 2 separate attachments, and then we've got the letters to Heritage and Historical, which we may or may not need to include, but we have them. Oh, I know. The other thing was letters of support. That's the other. That would be if we had to do anything. We probably need to figure out letters of support, and again, those would be like all 5 letters in one file, or however many letters. You know, signed letters all in one file and PDF'd.
I've requested for Easthampton and Westfield, but I haven't gotten anything back yet.
Okay.
The other piece that I think they do need is, we talked about the letter of the landowners. You remember that new form? So in place of that, we need a letter that has the agreement between Southampton and Pioneer Valley Railroad.
Okay. Yep. And I talked to Ed about that, and he was checking with the lawyers, and I think they thought that would suffice because the rail banking is in process. So that MOU with the railroad is what we need, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. Yep. We have that. Okay. So I think we're getting there. Thoughts and questions and comments, you guys. I mean, we're trying to keep on moving here.
Yeah. I'm a little bit worried that we're not going to get all the letters of support, but maybe that's just my fretting.
Well, and we probably, now you reached out to the city planner types, right, in those 2 towns? And
yes.
So we were going to try and reach out to Senator Velas's office too.
Ed was going to do that.
Ed was, wasn't he? I think. Yep. I'm going to
Yes.
put that back on him. Oh, and the other attachment was going to be this draft RFP. That's a key one. So if something has to fall off because they don't allow more than X numbers of attachments, I think I'm going to say the letters on Heritage and Historical drop off in lieu of the RFP. Okay.
Right.
I think last time they asked us to send those later, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you just have to say that you've made contact.
Right.
That's all.
Yeah.
Yep.
And for this design process, again, I think we're ahead of the game, which is good. We needed them for the Parks grant, Kate. That was a separate thing. We didn't use them for the Mass Trails first one here.
We don't even know if we need them.
We're not sure that
Yeah.
we really need them now. We'll need them some point, so it's fine to get them done. But if we have limited attachments, then the RFP is a higher priority. The draft
Of
RFP
course.
is a higher priority. So Ed and we haven't had a chance to look at it, but thank you for the work you've done on it. At least we can use the part that you've done, and he may decide that he wants to put it in the fuller RFP language. But I think even just that scope of work would be something to show them that we're, on top of this. So I'll get back to you guys on that. We're going to meet on that on Friday, Ed and I. We haven't had a chance to run through it. Okay. And I will let you know on that. And I will focus on the letter from Velas. Anybody else?
Delapina or whatever.
Oh yeah, Craig Delapina. Was anybody going to kind of contact him and see if he would maybe write a letter?
I don't think we had that in the list, but I can probably do that if you want.
Okay.
And he's very usually willing to do that sort of thing.
Okay. The person I know who knows him quite well is Robert Floyd, because he mentioned him to me that it's somebody I should get in touch with, and I never have had a chance. So.
I'm happy to as well. I've spoken to him many times, so I don't mind.
Oh yeah, well
requesting a
that's
letter.
great. None of us know him, so I haven't met him or even talked to him. So you'd be better
okay.
placed, Aaron, as the chair of the Greenway. That would be great.
Great.
And just let him know that we're putting in the application to Mass Trails for the design, and could he write some letter of support for us to include with the application?
Yeah, let
Okay.
them know the deadline.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like we need it by Monday.
Yeah,
Okay.
right.
Yeah,
So
sounds good.
have people looked at the budget remake? It was simplified, but I didn't want, that was an area that was definitely off last time.
And that's the 3B version, right?
It's the 3B version. Thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah, I'm thinking some of these other versions eventually we can get rid of there, like 1 and 2 at least,
Okay.
because it is confusing. So 3B version, what was the difference on it?
So the big thing is we had under cost of acquisition, I had the hiring the design firm. So we moved that up to under cost of consultants, design consultation, brief description, design engineering, permitting of 3.5 mile Greenway rail trail. And then the budget was 300 from Mass Trails, 100 from us, and it listed as town approved CPA funds. So it's more consistent with our last discussion. I just want to make sure people were comfortable with the changes at one point. Look at it.
Okay, and the total is still 400,000 though, right?
Correct. Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, because
And
we have
took
the
out the
100 from,
lawyers' fees.
yeah, we have the 100 from CPA, and yeah, so this is really just focusing on the design part now. So any legal fees that we had put in the rail banking part, not in the design part. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that sounds right.
Okay.
Definitely we'll take a look at it again, but good. Well, how's everybody feeling about this?
I think we can do it. So I have a specific questions.
Go ahead.
So we're gonna make some changes. I think one other person committed to some grammatical changes. So are we gonna have another meeting, or are we just gonna have everyone say, oh, thumbs up on it, and then someone's gonna put it in the state
Nope.
program?
We can. So today's I've got to post another meeting like right now tonight in order to have it in time. So in order to have a 48-hour window, not counting weekends, let me see if we could people meet on Tuesday if we can get that far? If it'll let me post a meeting for Tuesday? I don't know if it'll
I
let me.
feel like you're gonna have a hard time I'm having deja vu of another time we were trying to post a meeting for Tuesday. Maybe it would have to be after 4 o'clock.
No, I want to do it. I want to do it before, because then I've got Friday and Monday that count as days.
Right, I mean, the meeting after 3:39 on Tuesday.
Well, I'll see what it'll let me post. I'll try for the 2 o'clock as usual.
Mhm.
Okay, but is Tuesday in general?
Okay.
Okay, we'll
And
try
we
for
have a-
Tuesday. I'll see what time it lets me. If I could post for Monday, if it will let me, it kicks me out. It counts the 48 hours. So if we were able to post for Monday, are people available Monday better than Tuesday?
It's
Oh.
okay
Mark,
with
you
us.
won't be- You won't be available Monday, right?
But that's actually, I'm not gonna be around Monday. That's right.
At all? Okay, all right. So let's go for Tuesday. And Tuesday gets us. Tuesday's the 25th, so we're still good. We're still good.
And
If-
I have
if
a
it has to-
commitment from 2 to 3, but otherwise that day I'm free.
2 to 3. So if I made it later, like maybe 3:30 then? Or
Perfect. Yeah, that'd work.
yeah, okay. I've got select board, but that's okay. I gotta be done by 5 anyway. So yeah, if we did an hour, 3:30 to 4:30.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll try
I'll do
that.
my best to be there.
All right. And yeah, so we'll do that. We'll get in. We can make edits in this
Hi.
same version. Okay, we'll make edits in the same version, and just keep noting that we're on version 3, or yeah, don't make yet another version, because we've made the edits in these, right? So we'll
Yes.
still be working in this version. Okay, good. All right. Well, thanks, guys. I think we're getting very close here. So just a few more just verifications and tweaks, and eliminate some wordiness, and just a little bit of clarity in a couple places. I think we're pretty close there, guys. So thanks so much.
All right.
Sounds good. Thank
right.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right,
Bye.
Bye.
motion to adjourn,
If you could just
members?
hold on 1 second. Sorry, I'm also in a meeting.
Yeah, Diana and Kate, motion to adjourn, please.
So moved.
I think she left. Okay, we're adjourned. Thanks all.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye.